Right then, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. It's obviously United related, but I'm going to let you in on some secrets. Some stuff that I haven't talked about publicly and some stuff that I've been working on for 4 years. Things that I am trying to put into place. Unfortunately, without a budget, it takes a long time to do, but this is the sort of thing that I am working on. And I got so much fantastic feedback on the video yesterday. You've really made me feel a lot better about making some content and maybe even turning left and right a little bit in terms of the content we make. Now, one of my favorite series of books, because I've got a couple of them here, is Changing the Conversation. And it's 21st Club. It's the data company that I referenced that I think United wanted to use, or Dan Ashworth wanted to use. There's 3 of these books. I've only got 2 of them here. I think the other one's at home. And there's some conversations in these books and essays that are in these books that I think United can learn from. One of them is about value in the transfer market. One of them is about how you recruit, data, all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to do content about those. I can read I'll read the contents if you want, so what the essays are about. So the Rooney Rule, it's not what you think. Old dog, new tricks, liberal football, when winning's not enough, no such thing as resale value, proven strategies, leagues versus cups, Super League. Lots of different stuff in here that we can delve into. And I'm not just going to read the essay for you. I mean, the essays, quite a lot of them, a single page. So the proven strategy one, that's the entire essay. 2 pages, probably 1 page of A4 in reality. Now, I'm not just going to read an essay for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my understanding of the essay and then relate it to Manchester United, or at least modern football in how I see it. Now, one of the ones that there's not a specific essay on this one, but I wanted to talk about this, and it's about football development. Because I think football likes to sell itself as a meritocracy, as talent finds a way, always rises to the top. And I think it's a lie. Because football development is not about talent. I think it's about coaching, it's about opportunity. And I think right now, in England, coaching and opportunity are broken. And I think Kobbie Mainoo is a bit of an example of when things get done correctly. And I think, unfortunately, he's an exception and not the rule. So I want to explore how we change that. How do you stop talent from slipping through the cracks? How do you actually develop the next Kobbie Mainoo rather than hoping one appears? Because I think so much of football at the moment is hoping the class of 92 happens again. Is hoping Kobbie Mainoo comes through again. Is hoping a Marcus Rashford comes through again, regardless of how his career currently is going. That was a success for Manchester United Academy. How do these players make it through? So Kobbie Mainoo, where did he start? Wasn't a golden generation wonder kid. Wasn't really fast-tracked like a lot of United's top prospects. Goes all the way back to Cheadle and Gatley Junior Football Club, Grassroots club in Stockport, where he played before getting into United's pre-academy, age 9. Now, what was interesting about Kobbie is that he played futsal. Now, could futsal be one of the secret ingredients in his game? Well, I think it's a big influence in his game, because futsal forces players to play in tight spaces, to have high-speed decision-making, to have a fantastic first touch and close control, to develop a press resistance, which is a key strength of his game today. Spain and Brazil are 2 places that really prioritise futsal as part of youth development. In England, we don't. It's a separate pathway. It's its own sort of sport, if you like. Then he got to United's pre-academy. And the difference there, night and day. UEFA qualified coaching, not just volunteered dads. A structure, a development plan, high-level opposition, some tactical and technical training. And United invested years into Mainoo's development because a academy like United's, they can do that. But for 99% of kids in grassroots football, and actually 99% of kids in most academies, that kind of coaching and structure just does not exist. These days, staying safe online isn't just smart, it's absolutely necessary, with cyber threats, data breaches, and the constant tracking everywhere. And that's why you need Surfshark VPN. It's the easiest way for you to keep your data secure and private. And right now they're offering an exclusive deal. Get an extra 4 months for free on your subscription. And with Surfshark, you can browse the web, and honestly, you can access geo-restricted content. You can keep your personal information safe from prying eyes, and it hides your IP address and encrypts your data so you can stay protected no matter what you're doing online. One account works on unlimited devices, so you can secure everything from your phone to your laptop, your tablet, and even your smart TV all at once. And getting started is an absolute breeze. If you ever need help, they've got 24/7 customer support that's got your back. Take charge of your online security today. Visit surfshark.com/Howson to get an extra 4 months for free on your subscription. Your privacy is worth protecting, so don't wait. Head surfshark.com/Howson to claim your 4 months extra free and lock down your digital life. Big thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. They've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go give it a try. Now, I'm going to read you some FA stats on coaching. 80% of grassroots teams are coached by a volunteer parent. Only 30% of coaches in England have even a level 1. And level 1 is literally about safety. There's not any coaching in your level 1. Germany and Spain mandate UEFA qualified coaches for youth football. England does not. I'll say all of that again because you missed it. 80% of grassroots teams are coached by volunteer parents. So when you say it's someone's dad that's taken control of any given team, it's because it is. I'm actually surprised it's only 80%. I would have guessed it in the 95+%, to be honest with you. The fact that Spain and Germany mandate UEFA qualified coaching and England does not, it's a joke. Now that's an absolute disgrace. And let's just be clear, this is not a dig at volunteer coaches. Without them, the kids do not have anywhere to play. I've got the utmost admiration. I was one, right? I've taken over at my son's team to stop it folding, and I imagine that is on an almost universal truth for everybody watching this video that's come through playing football in England. How many teams do you know of? I'm certainly, if you've played for more than 1 year, I would expect it to be near 100% of people that played grassroots football in England have been coached by someone's dad. And like I said, that's not a knock on the dad. Sometimes there's some dads with high-level coaching experience, but by and large, that person stepped in to stop the team from folding. How's that work? In Spain, in Germany, the Netherlands, under 8s, under 10s, they're being coached by professionals. We're put in the hands of our national game, the game that you and I love. It's like a lottery ticket. If your local club has got a great coach, sweet, players will develop. If it's someone's dad that's just literally trying to pick players and give fair game time and lets them just play football in training sessions because he doesn't have the tools, he doesn't have the knowledge to be able to put on a session that's going to develop them, then you don't. And players don't develop. And we are putting our national game in the hands of those volunteers. Again, don't take this the wrong way. This is not a knock on the volunteers. This is a knock on the FA. The FA are coming out with initiatives all the time. They're doing case study reviews. They go to Spain, they go to Brazil, they go to Argentina, they go to Germany. They go, what are they doing that we're not doing? And they come away like there's a new initiative to play 3v3 to get players more time on the ball. I like it. I think it's a good idea. But if you're just giving them the time to play on the ball, are you coaching them to know what the good decision making is? Are you coaching them to be able to control it with both feet so they can go left and right? Because that's going to be a requirement in a 3v3 situation. Are you coaching them to understand when to hold onto a ball, when to play a pass? Are you giving them the technical information to be able to execute the things that they can see, to execute the good decisions that they might have learned? We're not putting enough into coaching. Academies probably still aren't the answer as well. It has to start earlier than that. It has to start at the grassroots level. And at the grassroots level, or actually including academies, because I guess this is just, it doesn't account for where these coaches coach. Spain has got 15,000 UEFA A and Pro licensed coaches. Germany has got 12,000 UEFA A and Pro licensed coaches. England's got 3,500, about as many as the Czech Republic. In England, a UEFA A or Pro license is a gatekeeping opportunity, whereas in Spain and Germany, it's considered part of the pathway. In England, if you want to get on a Pro license, it's essentially, was you a professional footballer? Or are you working at a professional club? If you can't answer yes to either of those questions, you're pretty much not getting on a pro license. It's got to be considered a separate career to you being a professional footballer. Yes, you want professional footballers to get back into the game, but Ash Williams is a bit of a unicorn in this sense because he's coached at under 10s and 11s and stuff like that at a grassroots club in Manchester. How many Premier League players are going and coaching on a volunteer basis at grassroots level? They get opportunities in professional clubs, but they've not built up any experience, and then they want to just jump straight into management. It's the opposite sort of mentality in the likes of Spain and Germany. And like I said, academies are not necessarily the answer either. Let's say a young player does manage to escape the broken grassroots system, gets himself into an academy, right? That's the dream, surely, right? No, because a lot of academy football isn't even about development. It's about selection. And I'll explain what I mean about that. Academies are not focusing on developing players. They are just selecting the best ones. Every year, here's the best ones we'll keep hold of, and we'll keep trying to develop those players, but we're just selecting the best ones, the most physically mature, the fastest, the biggest, the ones who score the most goals. They're not really spending time and patience developing players. How do we know that? We know that because 97% of academy players will never play a professional game for the club that develops them. Less than 1%, and it might even be less than 0.1% will make it to the Premier League. By 18, the overwhelming majority get released and have nowhere to go. Academies aren't building talent. They're mining it. They're finding it. They're identifying it. They're not building it. They select the most dominant kids between 9 and 12, the strongest, the fastest, the most physically developed. And as they go up the age groups, they discard the players who don't meet the next level of physical requirements. And that's the problem. Just because you're not a phenom or a physical monster at 12 doesn't mean that you can't be a great player at 22. Kobbie was a late developer physically. If United's system was like most clubs, they'll have discarded players that weren't the biggest or the fastest. He wouldn't have made it. There has to be a system that nurtures and grows talent, not just one that selects it or eliminates it. Now, I'm not just saying this for no reason. I coach and I run a club that's currently got 10 teams. Now, my dream and the thing that I've been working on for the last few years isn't just to have a team playing at level 13 of English football. That's not what I'm doing with Stretford Paddock. I'm trying to get Stretford Paddock promoted. I want to get us into the FA Cup. And I want the first team to exist at a high level of non-league. And for those not familiar with non-league is a bloody good level. National League might as well be called the 5th professional league because it is. Now, we're not a Category 1 academy with unlimited funding. We basically have no funding. I've got 10 teams that play for Stretford Paddock at the moment. Like I said, my dream is to have 50 and over 1,000 players. And believe me, I am 100% certain I will get there. It's just a matter of time. Now, what we do have in Manchester is one of the best footballing cities in the world. And we do have the ability to create something that doesn't exist anywhere else in England. And I'm going to call it the Athletic Bilbao model. Why? I've got a lot of admiration for what Athletic Bilbao do. They not only recruit players from the Basque region, which is at 2.2 million, a similar sort of size to Greater Manchester, but they also develop players that are able to compete and keep that club in European places. Why do they do that when the likes of Manchester United and Manchester City are getting one player through in every 4 or 5 years? They're doing it because they develop the players better than anybody else. They don't sign talent and discard it on a whim. They have to have more patience because they can't just rely on having to spend some money when the players turn 15 and 16 and recruit players from abroad. They have to develop their players. And I don't see anybody else doing this in non-league. I see so many teams in non-league that exist as a one-team club. They got a first team that plays Northern Prem, National League North, and they have nothing below that. And they have to throw money at the situation, and they have to pay a journeyman striker £1,000 a week in non-league to drop down a couple of divisions. There's teams in Northern Prem that are offering £1,400 a week. I know this because I know one of the players that was offered that sort of money from a team in the Northern Premier League. And if Paddock had money, could we do that? I guess. But where would you feel good about doing that? I want to build players. Partially, selfishly, I want to build the next Kobbie Mainoo. Why? Because I'm a fucking United fan and I want to see United do well. And when I see Grassroots at the moment, I see people just having a complete lottery on whether somebody makes it or not. Why is their entire national game? I can't believe Manchester City and Manchester United haven't gone and funded Grassroots to the nth degree. Because if they had better talent coming through into their academy at 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 years of age, they're going to have 30, 40, 50 million pound players coming out in 7 or 8 years' time. That investment to me from those clubs makes total sense. If they had the most thriving, most competitive, most well-coached, well-funded junior league in the country, and they're lucky because the East Manchester Junior Football League and the Manchester Junior Premier League kind of is that without their input, they would have so much better raw materials coming into their academy, which means that they get a better end product at the back end of their academy. So what I want to do with my little project is properly fund coaching at the foundational levels. I don't just want to be giving it the fastest kid the ball. I'm trying to build a club where UEFA qualified coaches are at every single age group, from 3 in the soccer schools to the 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, all the way up. And I want to build a pathway where Paddock are the first protocol for Manchester United scouts when they're looking for 10, 11-year-olds. And I want them to be given the real raw material, players that have been coached, not just quick kids, not just, how's he fucking 9, he looks 17. Players that understand the game. There's a couple of clubs, I've mentioned this before, there's a couple of clubs in Manchester that have got real good reputations, and they've earned those reputations. And I'm not a jealous person. I don't look at other people and go, oh, why are they doing that? I look at them and I get inspired, and I'm absolutely inspired by what Manchester Corinthians and Fletcher Moss do. If you live anywhere near those teams and you've got a junior, I would say go and take them to those clubs, because those clubs develop players. And I want Paddock to be alongside those clubs. I don't want to take anything away from those clubs, and I certainly wouldn't badmouth those clubs. I think what they're doing is inspirational. But I want to be alongside them, and I want to do what they're doing to the same degree, and maybe even take it a little bit further. UEFA qualified coaches, not someone's dad that's took over the team that doesn't have aspirations to be a coach. I want to find the best young coaches, and I want to pay them to develop our kids. And I want people to know that when they bring a kid to Paddock, that they're bringing them to somewhere that cares about their development. And be honest and say, listen, the chances of them playing for Manchester United are slim, but they'll come through this club where we actually care about them and we have the patience to develop them. And maybe one day they play for our first team. Because right now I'm playing 5 or 6 under 16s in my first team, way ahead of the schedule that I thought we would be doing. And I can't tell you the thrill that we get out of seeing these kids coming through and seeing what it means to them to play for our first team. Again, at level 13 in the Cheshire League, not even playing in the FA Cup, which is where I want to take it. I want to change the way the very foundation of Grassroots is in Manchester, because I can see a better way. I can't believe how much of the player pathway is left to accident. I can't believe the sheer volume of players that get discarded at 16 by the likes of United and City. One of them is in my first team at the moment. Is about to be discarded by Manchester City. I want to put Paddock into the league in non-league, and no aspirations whatsoever of going professional, none, because what I want to do is grassroots focused. And I want us to be that Athletic Bilbao model. I want us to be a team that exists at a freakishly high level. Northern Prem is a freakishly high level where we are doing it with our own kids. And a couple of those kids have gone on and been the new Kobbie Mainoo, and they've played for Manchester United. And the rest of them, they stay at Paddock and they keep us in there. And we have this long-term production line. That's what I want. I want to build a club that produces players at a scale. That is the first port of call for United, not City, because I'm not going to let them in the building. And I think the issue is coaching. I think the issue is accessibility. There's a desperately low number of facilities in Manchester. And I think the same thing exists at junior grassroots coaching that exists when it comes to the first team. Lack of patience. Kobbie Mainoo made it because he had futsal, which really helps develop this technical ability. He obviously had someone that helped him understand the game. You know, shout out to his family, because that is a young man that understood football at an early door. He had elite coaching and he had structured development. How many other Mainoos out there never got that chance because they didn't win the postcode lottery, because the junior team at the end of their street was someone's dad who was literally just doing it so his son had somewhere to play? I think you can do it with proper coaching, with a structured pathway. And is it giddy of me to think that I can do this? Yeah, but do you know what? This isn't just me, the fucking idiot that chats shit on YouTube. You know the connections I have. Some of the connections I have. I'm chatting to probably 20, 22 coaches at the moment. People that have got international experience, people that have got current coaching experience, people that are working at elite clubs, actually in more than one country, people that are coaching top level, top flight players at the moment. I'm building this. I'm going to see what happens with this. Selfishly, I want United to be better, and I'll never coach at Manchester United, right? And I'm all right with that. Don't worry about it. They couldn't pay me enough to leave the project that I'm doing. I want to selfishly make those players. Can you imagine the fucking pride at knowing the next Kobbie Mainoo came through what we were doing? I want that. And I think that's how you fix coaching in this country. I think that's how you fix youth development in this country. But yeah, that's my little waffle about how I think youth development has got to change. Stop it being an accident. Actually get some good coaching involved. And I think we can do it. And, you know, if you would like to get involved with what we're doing at Stretford Paddock, I swear we would love to have you. We have got 1,400 members worldwide at the moment. We get to vote on everything from club ethics and sponsorship ethics to what kit we are wearing. The results of that have just been announced for next year's kit. 3 absolutely banging kits. I'm trying to do football different. I'm not saying I've got all the answers, but I'm in a privileged position where, because of doing YouTube, I get access to things that I probably wouldn't have access to do if I didn't. So I've got to take advantage of that, and I've got to see if I can make things better for the kids in this city. I'm incredibly, I don't know if patriotic's the word, about a city. I fucking love Manchester, and I love the area, and I love the record that Manchester United have got of bringing through youth players. But when I see that, it feels like it's an accident. How can we trust our entire industry and our future of Manchester United to such random fucking occurrences? I would like to try and change that. I would like to try and have a big hand in that. Like I said, we got 10 teams at the moment. I think the lowest any of the teams is second in the leagues that they're in. It's not enough. I want more. If you want to get involved, what I'll do is I'll throw a link in the description. The more members they have, the better. I've been working for 3-4 years on different facilities. We need a home. The second I get a home, it's the biggest domino in all of this happening. And like I said, we've gone close a couple times. Things have fell through a couple times. I will speak on that fully when I'm able to speak on that fully. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there are things that are happening around us all the time. And I think Manchester FA is recognising some of the things that we're doing, to the point where they actually sent the Korean FA down to come and observe one of my training sessions, which I think is a real big kind of Brucey bonus and validation of what we've been doing as a football club. And they allowed me to be interviewed as part of the Korean FA's ongoing development. So while you're thinking, Steve's chatting shit, I do have at least a little bit of credibility, at least externally, with some people. So that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you for those who stuck around to the end. Like I said yesterday, I'm going to try and do some different content. I'm going to speak on things that matter to me. And if you guys come along with me, fantastic. If you don't, that's cool. You're for just United content, that's cool. But I'm in a great spot with what we're doing as a football club. And I really, really desperately want to be a success to help Manchester United. I'll never coach there, but my players can play there. They absolutely can. And in a few years' time, it'll be players that came through the soccer school at Paddock, played 3-4 years with us, and then moved on to Manchester United to get that top end coaching that they need to develop and be a Manchester United player. It's going to happen, right? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. It's going to happen, and you'll fucking believe you'll hear about it when it does. But thanks for your attention. Please get any comments you've got involved. And if you would like to get involved in the club in any way, we are a volunteer-run club. I want people that give a fuck. If you give a fuck, get in touch. I'll put a link in the description if you want to become a member, or even just go and read about what being a member is all about. And if you are a member, shout out to you. Tell people what it's like being a member and why you're a member even. Because I think that matters. I've got some big ideas. You can help us get there in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.